Prayer is our relationship with God. It's the actual space in which we share life with Him and we share our hearts when we converse with Him. It's our time with Him. If we're not praying, what kind of relationship do we have with God? We need to be spending time with God. We need to be talking with Him. We need to be beholding Him. And what does it mean to behold? It means to look deeply upon, right? It's not an awkward or creepy gaze or stare. It's a seeing Him for who He is. It's allowing Him to reveal Himself and to draw us into deeper knowledge and understanding of Him through our relationship. So what is prayer? Prayer is our relationship with God. Prayer, according to Pope Benedict, is pure receptivity to God's grace. It's pure openness. It's pure vulnerability. See, He's the bridegroom and we're the bride. And what the bride is there to do is to be held. All we do is allow Jesus to pour His divine life into us. I had a Byzantine priest a long time ago tell me, Matt, it's not about acting right or being good. It's about placing yourself in the presence of holiness and allowing it to change you. That has become one of the truest statements that I've heard. It really is about the simplicity of placing ourselves in the presence of God. Because if we do so, He will change us. Think about adoration. When I was a focus missionary, I had a student tell me one day, in a kind of joking way, but serious way, and I thought it was a great analogy. He said, you know, being in front of the Eucharist is like being in front of radioactive material. And what happens if you're in front of radioactive material? You get sick, you get permeated by the radioactivity. Well, what happens when we're in the presence of Jesus in the Eucharist? We get permeated by grace and love. Beholding God, being in His presence is part of it. And so it's being receptive. See, the biggest problem that people have in their prayer life, the biggest reason that people say prayer doesn't change anything, you can't pray away X, which you kind of can't. Prayer's not a magic pill or a magic button that you push to make things better. What happens is the longer we're in relationship with God, things change and get better. We change and we get better. But the reason most people don't experience the power of prayer is because they're not open. They're shut off. They lived with their arms crossed and they're rejecting the very one who loves them. And there's a myriad of reasons that people do this. They do it out of pain, they do it out of fear, they do it because they've been hurt in the past. And sometimes that's just the habitual way that they live and they don't know any other way. They don't know how to be another way. That's a frequent thing that happens when I meet with people is they come to me and they say, once they figure out that that's the problem, they're like, I don't even know what to do anymore. So a lot of the role that I play in spiritual direction is being a person whom they can begin doing that with, and God can enter into the situation and make them secure in His love, both through me and directly, and then they can start a new way of being, which is open and receptive. The Catechism says we're all beggars before God, and this is important in understanding the way of prayer, because beggars have their arms out open, looking at the one to whom they're begging with expectant faith. The person who's begging is really hoping you're going to give them something. For us, it's life. It's life. That's the position and that is the mode of being that we should have with God, is a beggar before Him, open hands, expectant, waiting to receive the gift of divine life. How do you step into that? Start being honest and real and authentic and vulnerable. If you want to deepen your prayer, the only thing that you can do is start to be vulnerable and open. To be specific about what's happening in your heart and tell Him about it. Prayer is our relationship with God. It's about being open and receptive. We're all beggars before Him. Get into His presence, allow Him to change you, behold His beauty, behold who He is, and He'll change your life. You know, prayer really does change things. I was diagnosed with bipolar, depression, anxiety, and all these things had been present most of my life from teenage years all the way up till probably 3 or 4 years ago. I had been medicated at different times. I eventually, with my doctor, discerned to get off This is important. I'm not telling anybody to get off their medication or anything like that. It can be a lifesaver and it can be a help. And some people have been on it a long time and need to stay on it. Between medical professionals and spiritual direction, I dealt with this. Well, what happened in my own prayer life is I deepened in intimacy with God. All those insecurities and fears and everything started to be healed. And you know what happened? I became secure in God's love for me. Over the course of time, me beginning to deal with the thoughts that plagued me, not responding to them, bringing them to God for His grace to enter into my pain, He changed me, right? And now I don't wake up first thing in the morning with the spring wound tight anymore. And I used to. That was my daily mode of existence. I couldn't even get out of bed. I was so freaked out. Living this life with God will change you. It will change your heart and it will change your life. Just begin doing it. Hit like, subscribe, ding the bell for regular updates. If you have questions about prayer, please put them in the comments. I would love to hear your questions so I can answer them on future videos. So please pray for me and know that I'm praying for you, and let's take over the world.